Shabbat Shalom umevorach buchim habayim. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This week we'll be reading Parashat Vayetzeh. And we know the parasha starts, it's really a continuation of last week's parasha. Vayetzeh Yaakov mi be'er shava vayelech harana. The first pasuk tells us that Yaakov Avinu went from Be'er Shava to the city of Harana. And we know that this is a continuation of last week's parasha, where Esav said, I'm going to go kill Yaakov because he tricked me twice. One, that he took my Bechorot, and the second one, he took the bracha of Yitzchak Avinu. And Rivka knew that Esav said, I'm going to wait for my father to die, and I will kill my brother Yaakov. So Rivka told Yaakov, go, leave, go to a far land, go back to Harana, where we came from your grandfather came from, and go find yourself a wife. We see something very interesting. Rivka tells Yaakov, go find yourself a wife, not from Canaan, from the city they were now. Rivka tells Yaakov, go find yourself a wife from Harana, go to Haran. Where do we see this? It's not new. We also saw this by Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu sent his slave and his servant Eliezer to go also to Haran, where he came from, to go find a wife for Yitzchak. And he specifically told Eliezer to not go to Eretz Canaan, where they were from. The obvious question is, first of all, why did Rivka tell Yaakov to do this? And if Avraham did it, obviously there's a significant reason that we do not want the Avot to marry anyone from Canaan. But it's very interesting because we have to understand that this is before the Torah. Canaan and all these cities were all the same thing. Everyone was of the Avodah Zarah. Everyone was serving idols. Abraham's father was the biggest merchant to sell idols. So what's going on? It's not like Rivka is telling Yaakov, go to Yerushalayim, go to Bnei Barak, go to the big city where there's tzaddikim. He's just saying, don't go to Canaan. She's just telling him, don't go to Canaan and go to where I was born and where Avraham was born. So what is going on over here? So we have to understand, Rabotai, you're right. Really, there wasn't any big city like Yerushalayim. There wasn't nothing holy in any of the cities. It was the same type of people and it was all the same thing. But there was one difference in Canaan. Chazal teach us there was one difference that made the girls in Canaan not worthy for our avot than any other city. And what was that difference? They were missing Middot. They had everything. They were the same type of families, same averot, same good, same bad. But they were missing Middot. Why is Middot so important? Because when someone is looking for a shidduch, really the main thing we want to look for is a person's Middot. How does he or she act to one another? How much chesed do they do in their life? Chazal teach us, Sefer Bereshit is called Sefer HaYashar. The book of Yashar, of straightness, of emet. Some people might say, oh, Bereshit is just stories. But really it's not. The Torah wants to show us, look at our Avot HaKadoshim, even though they were with Goyim the whole time, even though they were with different nations, but they were always emet. We see later on with Yaakov and Lavan, we see with Avraham, we see with Yitzchak, they always were derech hayashar, and they're always doing the straight thing and doing emet. So too, we know derech eretz kadma la Torah. Midot is the most important thing. Even though the other cities had maybe special things and all the girls were good, but the city of Canaan did not have midot. And without midot, it's like zero. Today in our generation, how many times do you hear when someone's looking for a shidduch, when someone wants to marry someone, sometimes or unfortunately the first question is wealth, parnasah, family, what do they do for a living? But Rabotai, what about midot? What about how they treat one another? The Chazal teach us to look at a girl's siblings and her family before you get married to her, because midot is so important. Without midot, you don't have anything. Derech eretz kadma la Torah, because without derech eretz, without knowing how to act with one another, you could take your Torah, you could take the Gemara and put it away, because you can't even start learning Torah without learning the story of our avot and start learning what midot are. So really, many people who are looking for shidduchim and looking for a zivug, you're right, parnasah and what they do is very important, but what about midot? What do they do on their spare time when a guy is looking for a girl? Does she do chesed on her spare time? Does she volunteer? Does she try to help out people in the community? Also, when a girl's looking for a guy, the same thing. Does he have midot? Does he have respect for his elders? Does he have respect for chachamim? Does he have respect for his parents? We see from here the Torah is teaching us Rivka told Yaakov, no, don't go to Canaan, because over there Middot is not a good thing. There's a famous old story that there was this certain boy in school, a student, they call him a smart aleck. He always thought he was the smartest person and he knew better than anyone. And they told him that there's a certain rabbi in a city that no matter what question you have, he's going to have the answer to. And this boy said, really? I'm going to go test it out. He goes to this Rav. He started asking him questions. Every question he asked, the rabbi had an answer. He goes, oh, I really got stumped. He went home. But he goes, no, obviously this kid, he has to win. He's like, you know what? I'm going to have a question that even this rabbi, it's going to be a catch-22. No matter what, he's going to fail. What did he do? He went to the rabbi and he took 2 butterflies in his hand. And he said, I'm going to ask him, are these butterflies alive or is the butterflies dead? If he tells me the butterfly is alive, I'm going to let it free. I'm going to let it go. And if he says the butterfly's dead, then I'm going to crush it and he's going to be wrong. So no matter what he's going to do, he's going to be wrong. The boy goes to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, I have a very important question. And the rabbi knew, okay, let's see what question he has. And he asked him the question, I have a butterfly. Is it alive or is it dead? The rabbi started thinking, and the boy has a big smirk. Oh, I got him. Catch-22. You're not going to answer anything. And then the rabbi looks him and also gives him a smirk. And the boy's thinking, what genius move does he have? And the Rav answered, you know what? The answer is in your hand. You have the answer in your hand. Because if you crush him, then he's going to die. And if you let it go, then it's going to be living. So too in life, and especially with shidduchim, everything's in our hand. It's up to us. When it comes to shidduchim for ourselves, for our siblings, or for our children, it's up to us. What is important to us? We have to learn from our avot and imaot. What is important? Midot. Midot come first. Derech eretz. Torah. Learning. How do they treat other people in the community? What type of name do they have in the community? So too with everything else, with learning and doing things and going to minyanim. We have the choice. And the choice is ours. And Be'ezat Hashem, if we learn from our avot HaKadoshot, if we learn what is important, we see our avot always waking up early and praying. We see midot. We see being emet, yashar, whether it's in business, whether it's when they were traveling. Yaakov Avinu and Lavan, this parasha, the whole story back and forth, Rachel and Leah, was all about ish emet, all about being truthful. Be'ezat Hashem, if we learn these midot from our avot, and we learn what it really means to be a proper Jew, we'll see Mashiach very, very soon. Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach.